everyone. It looks like the room is almost full. I'm Rhonda Conlon, and it's my pleasure this morning to introduce three of our colleagues from Penn State. Here in the room with us are Sharon Gripp and Garo Goodrow, and we have Peg Schuffstahl online. She apparently had a little trouble getting out of the airport, Happy Valley, so not so happy with that, huh? And they're here to talk to you today about how an engaging on-site course came to life on the web.
All right. We're going to talk about how our get my words together here. Our on-site course became a web course. I joined the program in 2010, and this was already started by an extension educator. He wanted to take the National Core Manual and make it an online course. So he did all this work in the beginning, and then I came along. And my background is graphic design, multimedia. I'm not a tech person at all, and I couldn't answer any really in-depth questions. That's why Peg is listening in today. So if you have questions, ask me, and she'll chime in via text.
She's chiming in too.
Oh, excellent. So, but the online course got started, and first thing he had to do was choose the software. And there's lots of software out there, and we chose Articulate. And the Articulate software allows for interaction amongst the viewers. So it's just not a straight talking PowerPoint, which we all know those can be real exciting. You can add quizzes, and you can. It's a fun way to learn. Even I learned stuff about pesticide education, and I have no background in it. I probably know more than I probably should. You can go to the next one. The software, Articulate, does have a lot of quirks to it. As of today, we were just trying to figure out why the thing was playing too fast. It's not real intuitive. It took a lot of questioning the makers, and they helped us out. It's very expensive. It's $1,500 a license. And I think we have 3 at this point.
And we did have a educational discount. I think if you bleed and cry a little bit, they'll knock some of that off.
Yeah, I mean it's very expensive to start out, but and it's got a very steep learning curve. That is why we chose to bring in a technical person to really deal with the in-depth guts of the program. As you can see, it was playing way too fast, so the bullets would fly by. Another thing about Articulate is you have to store all the files on one hard drive. So if you have a collaborative project going on, you can't share those files from machine to machine. They will not stay together. They will not stay linked, which created a lot of problems because we were losing audio with slides, and then we'd have to go back in and re-record. That took a lot of time. So you had to keep it all on one machine. Yeah, the same thing. You couldn't have more than one person working on the same files in a different domain. It's the exact same thing. They would all come unlinked and all over the place. See, this was Peg's part, so I'm... Need to follow steps to transfer software. Oh, yeah, transferring it from one computer. What we do now is we actually got a... we took one of our... Do we have any administrators in here from Penn State? Shh, okay? We took one computer and stripped it out of all the Penn State stuff and loaded a new software to it, and we put Articulate on it, and it runs wirelessly, and it sits in my office, and everybody works from that machine and has no domain issues, and everybody can work from there. But nobody from administration needs to know that because it was just too hard. But unfortunately, this is the only software that has the capability to offer all the bells and whistles that we wanted at that time. Oh, yeah. Yeah. In the beginning, like I said, a extension educator. His name is Tom Butler. I don't know if any of you know him. He started this, and like I said, he's an extension educator. I know how busy you extension people are. So he was doing this and his job, and he has no technical background. So he was trying to figure this out.
All by himself for like the first year.
Yeah. And he was running in all kinds of roadblocks and everything. Then we did hire some people to help out with this. This is probably about 25% of my job. I do a lot of the graphic end, the animations, and Peg, who is online, she's the one who puts it all together for us. Sharon does all the editing and making sure that we're within the national core standards and we have all the proper information. And then Sharon's going to talk about how we actually got this up online.
So then the main files are saved at a Penn State place, but then we needed to figure out where are we going to host our courses at. So that's when we found campusextension.org, and we just really liked how we could lay out our courses. It uses Moodle, which was much easier to learn than what Articulate was. So Peg and I really set up our courses here, and we have 6 courses online right now, and we have the same setup for each one. Now this is showing a administrative view, because right here's all of our options that we can look at. But all of our courses are set up so that you get the directions first, and then we have a handout. All of the core manuals, chapters can be downloaded into a PDF file, and that's what all of our modules are based on, is one chapter out of our pesticide core manual. So they can download that, and then they start the course, and then they can go through the course. And in our state, we have to quiz them so that our regulators know that they completed the course and they can get a recertification credit. So we have an end of course quiz that they must pass. Once they pass the quiz, then they have to fill out a short questionnaire so we can get their certification number and their date of birth and their full name. And that's what we send to the Department of Agriculture to give them their core credit. And then the last step is they can print out a completion certificate. And we also get emails when they complete each one of these steps, and then once or twice a month we send the Department of Agriculture an email or a report with all of the applicators that have taken and passed our course. There's a lot of reports that we can get in in the things, and when I was looking to talk to you guys today, I wanted to know how many people had actually taken our courses, and as of like last week or two, we had 116, and that's just since June of last year when we put them up. So we were pretty pleased. And the other thing, our pest management one, it's an hour long. It's the most expensive. We charge $35, and it's the most popular one. The other ones are just half-hour courses, and we charge $20 for those. But the other thing is, if they don't pass that end-of-course quiz in the beginning, then they have to take a second quiz until they pass it. And this one course, I looked and I was like, oh my, 3/4 of the people taking that module, they had to take the quiz twice before they could pass the thing. So I went back in, and this is a table that I made up from the numbers that you can find from Campus Extension. But when I went back in and looked, we had one of our questions was coded incorrectly. So everybody was getting this question wrong. So you do need to go in and look at those numbers and make sure. I mean, it's so simple to just miscode something, But we didn't hear any complaints, so we did send an email out to everybody, because we collect their email addresses. It collects them for you, and sent an email out and said, hey, you participated in this course. We just wanted to let you know we had a question that was miscoded. This is the correct answer. And I said, if you take another one of our courses, please, if you question anything in our course or wondering why we made something you don't understand, please send us an email and ask us, because we want to make this better, So actually this slide, the next one probably could have been reversed, but this is how we start all of our courses. Each chapter in the core manual has a list of learning objectives. So we list those all out and we tell them to the people, and that sort of organizes the course so that they know what they're going to be learning. And the core manual also has a different template for each chapter. So whatever chapter we're doing, we tried to pick that same template up here, and that goes throughout our course. And the other thing, Gary, why don't you click up here on notes? The other thing that Articulate lets you do is, I don't know why they're not all written over there, but usually you put all of whatever is spoken, you put all the notes over there. So if somebody wants to read what's being spoken to them, they can also go over to that side panel and read everything.
And it also helps with the ADA capabilities too.
Okay, the next slide.
Sorry.
We introduce the speaker, the teacher of the course.
Next, we have a slide introducing our instructor.
Sorry, guys.
That's Peg.
Yes.
She does a couple of the introductory and the ending slides for us. So we introduce Tom, and he's going to be the instructor throughout the course.
Okay.
Okay, now we're just going to get into 3 slides that we picked
That you would
out.
find in the course.
Yeah.
Course throughout the courses.
One of Tom's that he did that I think's
A
pretty
little bio
impressive.
of that person. It goes something like this.
Sorry.
Well, we do. All right. Well, this next slide here is a very complex chart that was in the National Core Manual, and it explains why, how biomagnification occurs. Is it still running? Or speed that
it's just-
along
okay,
a little
speed
bit.
along for you.
But it's a very complex chart with a bunch of different animals on here and explaining how DDT concentration, it might not be very much in the water, it might not be very much here, but as you go up the food chain, the amount of DDT concentration in the animals really starts to increase. And instead of just showing this as a chart like that, Tom, and he used PowerPoint to do this, but he took it apart and he took 4 minutes to explain this chart to our audience so that they can understand what all was going on here. And I think that's some of the power of some of these online courses. Because one of the things that they wanted to do is to make these courses interactive and just not be a talking PowerPoint that you just sit there and,
In that earlier slide, I showed you the fishing booklet there. But let's look at birds of prey. Some of these birds that eat fish can consume over 100 pounds of fish in a year. And if that fish contains DDT, that predator could accumulate in its body over time a lot of that material.
So that's just an example of him speaking through the course and teaching the processes of that chapter. Next slide.
okay, now this one was actually done using Articulate or...
Be prepared as accidents do happen.
Sorry, guys.
But this one, he really just took a photo, and this is a pesticide spill kit that applicators should have, and just, you know, he just made his own picture. You can create your own, make your own pesticide spill kit, and spread all the things out, and then he just talks about each item that's in a spill kit. You know, and we just think that's so much more powerful than just, here's a list of everything you should have in your pesticide spill kit. Let's go on to the next slide.
And then, just so you know how some people would like to just skip through there and take the test. They can't. They literally have to click every arrow, and it's timed, so you have to at least look at it for so many seconds. So we're forcing them to stay on the page for a little bit.
We just still have the volume off, but he talks about each one of these things. The other thing you can do is, a lot of them, if you click on that, you can see a bigger picture of what he's talking about. And when he's done, then you have to pick the next one. And he talks. But you're giving the user something to do. They're just not sitting there doing nothing. They have to participate in this.
Yeah, they can't like turn it on, then go and watch TV for 20 minutes and come back and take the test. They literally have to sit here and click through it, or it'll just stay where it's at.
Yeah, and see, I try to go on to the next one without going through all of the required things. Please view all items on this slide to continue. So, yeah. Now, you can go through it rather quickly if you wanted to, but...
We don't promote that.
Okay, then you have the next slide. Oh, and the other big thing that we wanted to promote was we want to have quizzes throughout these courses so that we know that the applicator is learning what he should know. So they have these review quizzes in. Can you match the pesticide?
Anybody know what that is? Fish?
Okay, so then you submit.
All right.
This is a different kind of quiz that you can have. You match the little bar things. So we have a tick. Okay, submit that, see how we do. Got them all right. The next one, we're just going to get this one wrong, see what happens. And again, there's a lot of back-end programming that you can do in these. Incorrect, you did not select the correct response. Mollucides control snails and slugs. So you can give them instant feedback as to what the right answer is. Next question. This one's a little bit more. We're just going to do it this way to save time. But the other nice thing about these quizzes are you submit, it tells us we didn't get the right response. You can view responses. Now you come back, you can review your quiz. And I know it's hard to see, but there's a little green check here, so that tells you which one is your correct answer. This one, they're numbered on that side and this side, so the ones match up, the twos match up, the threes match up. This one you can see, there is a slight, a very faint one here is the one we chose, but you can see that that was the correct answer.
This is the review for the...
I don't know. And then this one, you can tell, these are numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is 1, 2, 3, 4, so you can figure out, what the right answers would be. And you finish, and you can actually even go back and retry the quiz if you would want to. And then at the very end, we give them a congratulations, you've finished this course, and then we have a link that will go back to their end of course quiz. And the very last one is all of our Penn State statements that we need to have on everything. So that's about all we had for you guys. If you guys have any questions.
Don't try to do it yourself. That's one thing. Because it's...
Did you tell them that this is a review for the final one that gets the recertification credit?
The end of course quiz, that's the final one that they have to take to get their recertification courses, not the ones that are inside of our modules. Those are just for them to make sure they understand the stuff, but there's a separate end of course quiz that they have to pass.
Okay, my second question for you is relating to that. How hard was it with Department of Ag to get this approval?
It really wasn't hard. What you can do is, I think it's the e-extension part, we can give them guest passwords, and when we send it out, we've actually even sent it out to a couple other states, but we can give them a guest password, and they don't have to pay for the course in e-extension, but they can open up and go through these modules and see how they are. And we've had a very good response with, they're just not a talking PowerPoint, they're interactive, and they can go through it and decide whether or not they want to accept it for credit for other classes.
Okay, so
Yes. Yep.
There's a couple.
So I really like what you've done. And my understanding is your Department of Ag is allowing the person to get credit if they pass with 75% on the final quiz.
Yes.
There's no time element on this.
Ours are set up, our pest management is 1 hour, so they would get 2 core credits. A half-hour course, they get 1 credit. So they get 2 for an hour and 1. So it has to be timed. If you can see up here, yeah, up here when we get it all put together, you can see how long the course is if you go through everything. Like this one was 12 and a half minutes. But that doesn't count the time that they spend doing the review quiz that we have interspersed in through there. And again, they can click through everything. They have to actually be on each slide. And I've checked some of the stats. You can go into e-extension, they have logs on there, and you can see how long they're spending on the courses. And they're taking the time.
So will your Department of Ag give the person credit if they spend less than the required amount of time? Ours will not. That's what I'm asking.
I mean, I don't go in and check everyone, but it was interesting. Just a couple weeks ago, I got one that said, okay, this person enrolled and this person got their completion certificate like within 2 minutes of each other. I'm like, oh, that doesn't sound right. So I went in and I checked their log and it just didn't hit our email system. I mean, it just must have came in like that, but I was able to go back into the logs and check that out and make sure it was, that they spent the time.
Yes.
Just a quick question.
Oh.
Does it allow for branching?
What do you mean?
If they get it,
Does Articulate allow for building branching in? If they miss a question, does it allow them to be fed information that helps them understand why they missed it? Or is it just strictly, no, you missed that, and they go on?
No, that's why when it's incorrect, we try to, we code it on the back end to bring the correct information up of why they missed it.
but
Can
the
it-
answer to your question is yes.
So it could go to a more complex, let's say another animation, or say, you didn't quite get this concept. It can do that?
We never tried it, but I would think that we could probably add whatever we wanted to.
Okay, yes.
Okay, Peg said yes.
Yes.
Thank you, Peg.
We're out of time. The presenters are probably willing to be here for a few more minutes. If you have specific questions for them, there's break now until 10:15 down in the Regents foyer. And we'd like to thank the presenters for being here.